Liberals courting the extremist vote? I'm certain of it, so I decided I'd make a list of the 10 ways I thought the Liberals were doing just that. I was inspired by my investigation of Tariq Chaudary and the viral video we have up on The Rebel called The Truth About Justin Trudeau and the Liberals. I started looking at Justin's handpicked Liberal candidates and the statements and actions of Justin Trudeau himself, and my list grew and grew. Number 1 was the candidacy of Omar Al-Ghabra. He's the Liberal candidate in Mississauga Centre. He's a star Liberal candidate. And he's a Saudi-born extremist who used to run the Canadian Arab Federation. This is a lobby group that denies Hamas and Hezbollah are terrorist organizations. In case you missed it, a Palestinian mob burned the tomb of Joseph Wednesday night in Nablus. Imagine if the Israelis had burned down Al-Aqsa Mosque. The terrorism unleashed on Israel by Hamas would be apocalyptic. Number 2, the candidacy of Urqa Khalid. She's the Liberal candidate in Mississauga-Arundel. She was a member of the Muslim Student Association at York University. This is a student group with affiliations to the Muslim Brotherhood, and they crank out jihadis like Ahmed Khadr. This group also gave out a handbook on campus about the best way to discipline your wife. Number 3, the candidacy of Tariq Chaudary in Edmonton-Riverbend. This week, I did a story about his attempt to bring a Mumbai-based Islamic hate preacher named Zakir Naik to Edmonton in the summer of 2010. Now, he denies knowing who Zakir Naik is. Do you really believe him? Number 4, the candidacy of Darshan Kang in Calgary Skyview. Kang spoke at a pro-Hamas rally in Calgary at the City Hall that erupted into a Jew-beating race riot in July of 2014. Number 5, the candidacy of Alibaz Reba in Calgary Nose Hill. She was part of that pro-Hamas rally that erupted in the previously mentioned riot. She also told a Jewish account on Twitter that their mother should have aborted them with a coat hanger. Then she played the victim card, saying it was all just a youthful indiscretion, and eventually she stepped down. Now, that excuse of hers may have been believable for some gullible sympathizer, but not for me, because I know she sent a tweet after last year's race riots telling my Canadian-born Jewish boss to go back to Israel. She's a real peach. Number 6, after the Jew-beating race riot in Calgary, Justin Trudeau had a quick stop in Edmonton. He didn't meet with the victims of the violent pro-Hamas mob, who happened to be a Jewish woman and her family. Instead, he met with the organizer of the event. She's a woman named Saima Jamal. She laughed on her Facebook page about the violence committed against the Jews. Number 7 is the support for the niqab.
The government would go to such lengths right now to prevent a single woman from voting on October 19th. That is completely irresponsible. Canada defends the rights of minorities. We respect people's rights.
The niqab is tribal. It's misogynistic. It's a sign of oppression. It is literally the clothing equivalent of walking around screaming the N-word. It's like a leg iron for your face. Yet the Liberal Party vehemently supports this clothing as a women's choice, when more realistically, it's simply backwards men stuffing their women into these black fabric coffins. Number 8, the Liberals do not support Canadian airstrikes against ISIS.
Why aren't we talking more about the kind of humanitarian aid that Canada can and must be engaged in, rather than, trying to whip out our CF-18s and show them how big they are?
Besides the ethnic and religious cleansing committed by ISIS, they have sworn to strike Canadians in their homes. And besides, Canadian airstrikes, along with our American allies, helped the Peshmerga forces save hundreds of thousands of refugees on Sinjar Mountain late last year. And here I thought the Liberals were all about the lives of refugees. The best humanitarian aid is killing ISIS, and normal people know this. Number 9. Justin Trudeau was a keynote speaker with Islamic Relief Canada in 2012.
We are here today to do what Canadians have been doing together for generations. We are honoring our diversity through friendship and understanding so that we can build from it a common positive future.
Islamic Relief Worldwide is designated as a terror group by the Israeli government. They're accused of funneling money to Hamas and Hezbollah. In fact, Israel arrested one of the directors of Islamic Relief and deported him from the country. Number 10, the refusal of the Liberal Party to support a bill to revoke the citizenship of dual citizens convicted of terrorism.
A Canadian is a Canadian, and you devalue the citizenship of every Canadian in this place and in this country when you break down and make it conditional for anyone. We have the rule of law in this country, and you can't take away citizenship if you don't like what someone does.
There is no better way to sew up the terrorist vote than making sure they remain Canadian citizens of convenience. They can then avail themselves of Canada's diplomatic might when they get caught being terrorists abroad. Remember old man Cotter? He was a financier to Osama bin Laden, and he used his citizenship to get back into country. Chrétien even helped him. Liberals want us to share a citizenship with people who hate us, plot against us, and want to see us dead. That devalues my citizenship, and it devalues the citizenship of those immigrants who love Canada just as much as I do. Is this list more than merely a coincidence? Well, we know these are all purposeful personnel selections, and these are all well-targeted policy stances. This all is strategic. Everything in politics is. So what's my point? Vote wisely. Voting for change just for the sake of it isn't voting smart. Alberta voted for change and got a pile of radical unionists and environmentalists, and they immediately started implementing their agenda at all costs. Now stop and imagine what the agenda is of this group of Liberals. For TheRebel.Media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid.